Brent Thompson. I'm just going to go to some details here. Director of Siera Group. Some of the projects he have completed. One project in Carina, 10 townhouses. Another project in Carina, 8 townhouses. Unit development in Hurston, 11 units. Another project in Carina, 8 townhouses. Another project in Carina, 6 townhouses. Another project in Greenslopes, 10 townhouses. Approximately have completed about $42 million worth of developments. And right now, you have approximately about $17 million worth of developments under construction.
That'd be about right. I've never added it up, but you'd be pretty close, I reckon, yeah.
You're 32 years old.
Yep.
How did it all start?
Mate, it started with probably a dream to do what I'm doing today, maybe not even to be as far along as I am at this age. But yeah, it's all been driven by a deep desire to do development and be in the property game. And for me, my dad was a builder. I've been on job sites a lot of my whole life. He told me not to be a builder, not to be in the property game at all, send me to a good private school to get a good education. And obviously, I didn't listen to him. And
you did start university as well?
Yeah, when I finished school, I went to university to study property and economics at QUT. And I was working full-time as brickies labour at the same time. And I tried to juggle the two, doing labouring until 2:30. I was working at Ipswich, drive back to Brisbane, have a shower, do my tutors and lectures at night time. Yeah, I was doing both, yeah. Yep. And then decided carpentry was the best route to go about becoming a property developer, because I mean, property development, people think about 100 units in a tower or a big land subdivision, but really, you know, just turning a house into dual occupancy or buying a house, renovating and selling it, like all of those things are included, and you have to start somewhere. So for me, doing a carpentry apprenticeship, learning that trade, buying a house young, renovating that, making money from property like that.
What was your first project?
My first house I bought when I was 21. It was at Rochdale. It was like a 70s build, brick high set, underneath not legal height. But I turned the underneath into 2 bedrooms, separate second kitchen, second laundry, bathroom, all that sort of stuff. And then I let those rooms out. So I was renting out multiple rooms upstairs and multiple rooms downstairs for good cash flow.
And how much did you sell your first property?
Mate, I bought the first property for $403,000 and I sold it for $529. But to be honest, there's probably no capital gain in that. I probably put all of that money nearly into it. Yes. It was really a good I mean, this was in a stage when the market wasn't flying, as well as out at Rochdale. We really had a lot of movement.
But it was really good university for you. You learned a lot.
Yeah, and also it was forced savings, because I've always said that if somebody wants to buy a house and they're, oh, I can't afford it, blah, blah, if you just buy it and commit to something, then you make it happen. Yes. So being committed to a home loan and then buying, like I would literally get my paycheck, spend what I needed to on living, and then I would go to Bunnings and buy all the material to be able to do the work, and then I would just work around the clock, any opportunity that I had that I wasn't at work, to renovate the house. So it really probably forced me to earn an additional wage and also to save that money, yeah.
So, you know, looking back, I'm assuming a lot of the work you did on your first development, you did it yourself.
So on that one there, I did it completely myself, but to be honest, then I really just had a capital building exercise from there. I didn't flip a lot of houses or anything like that. I went from doing that one house to doing 10 townhouses. That was the jump. Yeah. So it was about renting out those rooms, building cash flow, earning good money at a job, doing any other little jobs that I could to build up my amount of capital that I had. And then my next move was going to be into 4 townhouses, and really 4 just turned into 10, just the way that it sort of rolled out.
And time flies. I mean, at the moment you got, right this second, I am standing in a development where you have 3 houses and 9 townhouses behind me. I mean, yep. This development end value will be, I don't know, $8–9 million as yep. a single development here. So, you know, that journey from one $520-something thousand home yes. to developments like this in really short amount of time.
Yep.
How did you scale so fast? Well, it's not really fast, it happens over many years, yes. but not many people ever get to this stage by age 75, not alone age 32.
Yes. Mate, a lot of strategic planning and a lot of maximising like the opportunity in every development. So when it was my first 10 townhouses, it was about maximising that development, doing it as quickly, efficiently and the highest quality that I could to be able to sell it. And then opportunities sort of come off the back of creating developments like that. So agents bringing new deals to you, or the opportunity to maybe bring on some external equity, things like that to be able to build it. So it's really just been some really like strategic key decision making, executing what we're doing, and
you have, those things from outside perspective, Siera Group does have extremely good reputation, and obviously, you know, you can be great marketer, but if you don't have a good quality product, your reputation will be gone tomorrow. Yours is very high up there. I'm assuming the big part of that is you are on your construction sites every day.
Yes. Yeah, I think that one thing that I noticed when I was doing construction and watching other developers deliver is that people lose track of the product itself. And that is ultimately what we're delivering. And so you can get a little bit caught in the feasibilities and acquisitions, the marketing and all the flair, but at the end of the day, we will be judged by what we build. Correct. And if it's a tough market, and we spoke about this before, the good product will always sell. So if you lose sight of the delivery of the product itself, then nothing's gonna last forever. So it was really about building a reputation. I didn't have money to spend on marketing other than just the minimum to be able to get the sales that I needed to. So it was really about delivering a really high quality project and product so that all the trades that were on site, all the people that worked for me, anyone that interacted with us, whether they were buyers or potential buyers or people who lived next door, anybody who saw us, what we were doing, they would talk well about us and say that we were doing a good job. Obviously there's not always the case, but by doing that, I would build organically that brand. And then as time's gone on and being able to spend a little bit more money on marketing and pushing ourselves, that's grown as well.
You're young, you're 32 years old.
Yep.
You have a wife.
Yes.
You got married in 2014, we established that, correct?
That's exactly right, yes.
And you have 2 children.
Yes.
How do you manage family life
Yep.
and having $17 million under construction today?
Mate, it's not that difficult. I think that you just have to be really well organised. You have to be super structured and also have your priorities right. So for me, it's about when I'm at work, I'm working, I'm not mucking around. It's all purpose driven. Everything's structured, planned, and we just execute on that. And then I have my time to be at home. And really, when I'm at home and I'm with the family, I think about property, and I mean, it will never stop. It's a bug, and I think we all get it. And I'll always be driving around thinking about, I want to see this and do that, but I really just concentrate on my family. And number one priority to me is that when my kids get older, that they're going to look up to me as the person and the dad that they could have wished for. And so that, mate, I've only got a limited amount of time with them before they go off and do their own thing. At the moment, we've discussed 4 and nearly 2. By the time they're 15, 14, they're probably not going to have a whole lot of interest in hanging out with mum and dad.
You'll be boring to them.
Yeah, and you know, I always have this mentality, like in 15 years, if I had to start again and build a business again then, but I had that time with my kids, I'll just do it again then, because I'll be 45. Like, who cares to build a business when you're 60, 70, it doesn't matter. So I just think that I will never get that time back, but I can rebuild the business. So I just manage that really well.
So think about this. If you have your son sitting there in the corner and he's 18 years old, and you have to give them a recipe to be successful in business, full stop, from age 32, what advice would you give them?
I think about this all the time, and I know that you've spoken to me about people asking for advice. Unless you have that burning inside you of what you want to be and what you want to do, I can give you all the advice in the world, but it won't happen. And if you look at the best sports people, the best business people, they all have it burning inside of them. So I could say, go and study this, or go and learn that, or go and work with this person, but unless you're hungry for it inside, then you'll only ever amount to what you want to be. So if you've got that burning desire, I think you find a way to go and do it. And for me, it's just been hard work, and there's no silver bullet. And a lot of smart people will tell you. But I think in hindsight, if I went back and I thought, okay, how could I shortcut to where I am today? And like, I've done it, I think, relatively quickly, but there would be a way that you could get to where I am quicker. And I could probably, you know, go back and reverse engineer my path and be like, okay, I could have done this, made that decision. But ultimately, it's just been hard work, focus, driven by quality, driven by reputation, a great team. Like, none of this would be possible without the boys that were with me from the very beginning on the site, and now we've got some other people in the office and some, you know, lovely young ladies who work with us that are doing stuff. But without everybody pulling in the same direction, working hard, focused on a goal, it's really not achievable. People, what are they attracted to? Why do they want to have a business? Yes. You know, if it's about nice cars or big houses or money and all this sort of stuff, like, that's not going to get you through the hard times. It really, and it's a cliche, but it will not.
It will make you happy for the day, not for the long time.
I've bought nice stuff, and people, like, what do you think people are going to come and, like, pat you on the back? Oh, well done, you've got nice stuff. You have to do everything for yourself and driven by your own desire. And that's, for me, that's what it's been about.
What drives you?
Mate, I think that I'm competitive, and I think I'm a high achiever, and I really just want to make the most of this life, which is so short. And I think that I have the ability to be able to do something well and do something great, and that will be, you know, great determined by what I see great as, and that's probably just reaching my full potential. So, I mean, I don't like to be sitting around doing nothing. I've got a goal of where I want to get to, and that drives me probably is just, yeah, reaching my full potential, that when it is my time to go and I'm on my deathbed, that I can look back on my life and say, I'm very proud of who I am as a husband, as a dad, as a business person, as a friend, and I've added value to the community, whether it be through my projects, educating other people, doing things like this. I just need to be proud of who I am and push myself as hard as I can.
I always say to many people that you don't want to be sitting on a chair when you're 85 years old and think to yourself, I wish I had done a lot more things that I have done, you know, at this age. I always say it's important that you really live your life on your terms.
Yes.
Have no fear. Things that you want to do now, don't just think about them, focus on executing them, because I don't want to be 85 years old and think to myself, you know what, I wish I lived my life differently, because you're not going to have a second chance.
Exactly.
When we die, that's it. It's maybe life on, you know, up there, but not on this planet. So
I'm not taking a punt on it anyway.
You're not taking a punt anyway, correct. What's next for Siera Group? Next 5 years, next 10 years?
Mate,
it's hard to predict.
Yeah, somebody, you know, close to me, who's our mentor, said to me, you know, the biggest thing is just to earn the right to punch the ticket next year and come back for another year and play the game again. So I don't really like to think, you know, in 5 years I'm going to deliver a 100-unit project and this and that. I just like to think that when it can continue to grow and continue to build on the success that we've had, we're going to monitor the market and keep looking at where the opportunities are, making sure that we're smart with the way that we're doing business, because the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years is short term. This is about, for me, really long term. So 50 plus years, yeah. And so for me, I just think we keep doing things well, we keep representing ourselves well, keep growing as a team, keep building the balance sheet, making sure that we can survive the ups and downs that the property market's going to throw at us, then, you know, we'll be here for the long run. So really the next 5 years is just going to be continuing to focus on what we do well, maybe a little bit of expansion geographically in terms of around the greater Brisbane area, maybe a little bit of diversification into some other property types, whether it be a little bit of, you know, retail or commercial development, or just different residential product type. So, mate, really there's no set in stone path, but we know where we're going long term, and that drives the short term as well.
You're a huge marketer. You really utilize social media probably better than most developers and most builders or most business people in Brisbane CBD.
Yep.
You are constantly on Instagram. I can't even get rid of you. You're constantly there. How important is social media? How important it is for people to really feel what you're doing every day?
In 2017, I made a decision to start doing Instagram, and I think that's when I did my first maybe Instagram video, and you know, posting organically on Instagram as well, and then that crosses over to Facebook. Really in the beginning it was just about starting to grow the brand and doing it cost effectively. Like I said, didn't have a big marketing budget. So everything we've done has just been done organically, and it's just been done as a documentation. So really just documenting the path, documenting, you know, the knowledge and sharing that sort of stuff along the way. The value that I see in it is for our buyers, they get to watch their new home, if they have purchased or they're thinking about purchase, come to life. And we talk about every asset of it, every aspect of it, sorry, and we're not hiding anything. So for me, it's like adding value to our end buyers. It's adding value to the greater community. If I get a lot of young builders or older builders or people in property who might ask me something and I can pass on a little bit of knowledge and that sort of thing. So it's really just been documenting everything, adding as much value to our buyers, to the greater community. And for me, it's creating like, you know, a bit of a catalogue of what we've achieved as well, because I go to some, you know, businesses that have been around for a long time, and you look back through their history and you see photos from the early days and video, and all this wasn't so big back then. And I think, you know, for me, that nostalgia of watching the journey from the very humble beginnings right through to wherever somebody plants their flag at the end of the journey is so special. And unless you start creating that somewhere along the way, you know, it's going to be lost. So I hope that we can do something really great, and in 80 years time, someone could look back and say, you know, wow, look at the journey from this guy being on a job site, documenting it, right through to maybe one day, whether my kids take over or it doesn't, it just dies, whatever happens. I just think it's nice to have that story as well.
You're always very humble, which is beautiful to see, because you are running relatively big business and you're always easy to approach. I actually remember I met you first time on one of my own developments.
Yes.
Since then, obviously, I've been following your journey as well, and it's phenomenal to see.
Yep. Thank you.
I hope you just keep growing your company, and a lot more people just keep learning from you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking me through your development there at East Brisbane. Obviously, it was a fantastic home, and you're doing a lot of other ones, so I appreciate you reaching out as well.
Look forward to watching you go, man. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.